Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining the webinar. I am so glad you're here. I'm going to start by sharing my screen. And let me go straight to the slideshow. So thank you for joining the webinar. I'm glad you're here. Hopefully you'll learn a little something. I'm going to make it to the point and not take up all your time because I know your time is precious as well as mine. And I want to start by telling you that the title of today's webinar is on parasites, you and the full moon. Again, my name is Dr. Maria Rodriguez. I am a wellness advisor, advising you and helping you with chiropractic and also a quantum nutrition practitioner. If you can introduce yourself on the chat. Hi, Jazz. Your name, where you're from, just in case I don't know you. And if there's any question that you have on parasites, you could write it on the chat and hopefully I'll be able to answer that for you during the webinar. And if I don't, I'll come back around and see if I still need to answer your question. So I want to start off by telling you that take a moment to tell you that about myself, because my passion for health didn't start with just a degree. It actually started with life lessons. And I grew up, I was born in Medellin, Colombia, but I grew up in Miami, Florida. And I'm the youngest of three, and we were born back to back. So my oldest brother was born in November, then my next brother the following year in October, and then me the following year in November. So we were literally back to back, and I'm the youngest, only female. So you could imagine the teasing and the bullying that went on, especially since I was a little chubby child. And they like to call me Hippo. That's why you see the hippo here on the screen. Of course, I did not like that. So I started my own diet journey. I started a diet, and that tough love pushed me to figure out some things early in my life. And that's where my health journey and my love for nutrition actually started. When I was about 12, I became a gymnast, and I was running one day to do a vault. I don't know if you all know a little bit about gymnastics, but that's where you run and you hit that thing that's called the vault. Anyhow, halfway to the vault, I fell on the floor in excruciating pain, and the coach literally had to drag me up off the floor, called my mother. My mother somehow knew to take me to a chiropractor. And literally within one adjustment, I was all better. And that was something very fantastic and great because I really love gymnastics and I like going there. And so I was devastated that this devastating pain could, end my career. So I stayed in gymnastics. And then since I was already thinking about health, when I was about 15 years old, I became a candy striper for Jackson Memorial. And when I was assisting a nurse in a room and she started to pack a wound, some of you might know what that is, where she had this huge wound on her leg and the nurse was putting gauze into it. And, as she was packing the gauze, I was just felt myself leaving this world and I fainted. And I was like, no, I know I want to do something in health, but this route is definitely not for me. And so you see the picture there of the leg press. When I was 17, again, I literally got stuck in that position at the gym. And I was blessed that the gym owner was my good friend. And he literally lifted me up off the machine. I was crying and screaming in excruciating pain. And I said, you need to take me back to that guy, to that chiropractor. Because I remembered how with just one adjustment, I was good. So I went back, and after maybe one or two adjustments, I was all better again. And he decided that he needed an assistant. And so he asked me, and I said, well, I think I would like to be your assistant. And so that's where my journey began into natural health care, because shortly after that, I went away to school and became a chiropractor. And here I am 32 years later. So what happened in my career is that I noticed that when I graduated and I was attending to patients, they weren't getting all better with just one or two adjustments. And I thought, wow, I must be a lousy chiropractor because these patients aren't getting better. But what's happening in the world is that with each generation, everyone is getting sicker and sicker. And so you need more nutrition to help the spine hold in place. And so that's my story. And here I am combining chiropractic with nutrition, which are my two passions. So the goals for today's webinar is to provide natural healthcare options for parasitic infections. I want to answer your questions, and I want to provide you with natural solutions to these problems that you can implement as soon as today. And why does this topic even matter? Like, why am I even talking about it? Well, first of all, there are many misconceptions related to parasites. Here, us in the West, in the United States, we think that parasites don't exist, that's something for third world countries. It's not anything that a developed country would have. And that really bothers me because we do get parasites. Most people have parasite infections. And so people thinking that they don't have them, they're not going to know that they do have them, and much less how to treat them or even treat them. So what are parasites? They're organisms that live in or on another organism, right? Another species. So, for example, we're the human species and parasites are not the human species. And they're getting nutrients from us. So at our expense, they're getting nutrients. What could be some symptoms that you possibly have parasites? It could be burping, like you're very gassy. You could get nauseous. A lot of people that are not breakfast eaters because they're nauseous in the morning could be from parasites. Vomiting, bloating, irritable bowel, gastritis, diverticulitis, heartburn, indigestion, reflux, headaches, migraines, seizures, eye floaters could be parasites in your eyes, pressure in your sinuses, Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune thyroid condition, dark circles under your eyes, if you get nightmares, ADD, ADHD, aggression, irritability, depression, anxiety, apathy, chronic cough, lack of energy, phlegm, rashes, eczema, psoriasis, bumps, and itchiness. And these are just naming the top ones that we know. I'm sure there's many more. And who doesn't have or hasn't had one of these symptoms that maybe got resolved, maybe didn't. So we'll see. Where do these parasites come from? Well, they could be coming from the air that we breathe. Hopefully you all know what chemtrails are. If not, we'll discuss that privately or in another webinar. If you're eating rare meat, that can cause parasites. Not always, but it can. Eating raw sushi. Not washing your fruits and vegetables properly before eating. Or if somebody that is preparing your food, like let's say in a restaurant, they go to the bathroom, they have parasites, they don't wash their hands properly, and then they come and prepare your food, that can cause problems. They can be in our water supply, and it could be coming from your own pets, like from your dog, from your cat, from horses, from ferrets, from snakes, from allowing your pets to sleep in your bed or letting them lick your face. Not good. And the reason why I brought up the full moon and also the new moons is because some people react to a full moon and some people react to a new moon. What does that mean? That those parasites get irritated in your body and you're going to have more pain. You're going to have more irritability. You're going to crave more sweets or more alcohol or more carbs. And overall, during that time frame, you might feel a little bit worse. As a practitioner, what I would do is I would know you, or you would, oh, I wrote that wrong. I would get to know you and I would know whether you're a full moon reactor or a new moon reactor and tweak the dosage of your protocol during that time so that it's a smooth transition and you're not feeling bad. How does this apply to you? Out of all those symptoms that I just mentioned, have you experienced any of these? Have they gotten resolved with your conventional treatment, or have they not gotten resolved? Maybe you've been misdiagnosed, right? Have you tried solutions that haven't worked? And what would your life look like if you got rid of something that was chronic by doing the right protocol? What are the statistics saying? Parasitic infections cause a tremendous burden of disease in both the tropics and subtropics, as well as in more temperate climates. Of all the parasitic diseases, malaria causes the most deaths globally. It's still a thing. It's still a thing. Malaria kills more than 400,000 people each year, and most of them young children, mainly in the sub-Saharan Africa. So we have those two. We have parasitic infections here in the United States. Probably don't cause deaths like they do in the sub-Saharan Africa, but a lot of distress and a lot of health issues that cost the United States a lot of money in healthcare, but mostly it creates havoc in our bodies and causes us not to feel so great, right? And then there's the neglected tropical diseases. They're abbreviated NTDs. These don't get too much attention in the public health community, right? I don't think you've ever heard of a broadcast that says, oh, by the way, make sure you're cleaning your food good or you're not eating sushi all the time, right? You don't hear that. So this could look like lymphatic filariasis, onchocerciasis, and guinea worm disease. And this affects more than 1 billion people worldwide, especially people in low-income rural areas. But 1 billion people, that's a lot. And so we need to talk about this and get the public educated. What is a conventional medical diagnosis of parasites? They like to do what's called a poop in a box test, right? They're checking for the eggs and the parasite. Not very efficacious. Like you get a lot of negative positives, right? They don't find it a lot in that. Endoscopies where, you know, they put a tube down looking through your mouth into your upper GI looking for parasites. If they don't actually see it in the camera, because there are microscopic parasites that you cannot see on camera, and then you have bigger ones and then huge ones that can be seen when you're pooping, maybe. If they don't see the microscopic ones, you're not going to get a good diagnosis. Colonoscopies as well. But again, like the endoscopy, they have to actually see it. Blood tests, they're looking for antibodies or antigens produced when the patient is infected and the immune system, the white blood cells get elevated trying to fight it off. They do a blood smear where they get, let's say, a drop of blood and they smear it and they look under the microscope looking for parasites. That too gets missed a lot. We know of a patient that actually, when they were doing the poop in the box test, they actually saw a parasite in the poop. And when they got the report says, you're good, you're clean. So what happens is, let's say this is, I mean, I'm sorry for being graphic, but this is the size of the poop and the parasite is on this side, but they grab a little piece from this side to test. Well, if the parasite is not on the little piece that they're testing, they're going to say that the test is negative, when in reality, there it is. They also do imaging, x-rays, MRI scans, CAT scans, and guess what? Parasites can cause lesions in the organs, tumors in the brain. So how many people have been misdiagnosed? A lot. What are some different causes that you may not have heard of? Well, obviously we know that a parasite is a parasite, but the reason these are on here is because these things open the door for parasites to be able to even get entry into our body, right? When you're eating foods that are highly allergenic, right? They cause allergies or they're just not good for your particular body type. Other bugs can open the door, right? If you already have bacterial infestation or viral, or you have Lyme, that can open the door for parasites. Your body's dealing with maybe mold and fungus that has put the breeding ground for the parasites to thrive in. Toxins as well, chemicals, heavy metals especially. In my practice, what I have found is that usually I first find heavy metals, and then with the sublayers, when the body starts revealing, we see that there's parasites under there hiding under the heavy metals. Radiation, because it causes stress to our body, from cell phones, from the earbuds, from the Apple Watches, from the Wi-Fi towers, from frequent flying. And then stress. Stress is always going to make your body go downhill. It could be physical stress, misalignments in your spine, bad posture, car accidents, work injuries, sports injuries, chemical, right? Like what I just talked about, too many chemicals in your body from the products that you're putting on, starting with the hair dyes and the makeup and the toxic toothpaste and the toxic mouthwash and the toxic soap and the toxic deodorant. I mean, we're just being bombarded. So I want to educate you so that you make good choices and you get natural stuff, or you learn how to make your own stuff so that all these chemicals are not entering your body. Heavy metals are pretty much everywhere too. So we got to be aware of that. Emotional stress, right? A lot of people are sad, depressed, and then spiritually as well. If you're not aligned with Yahuwah, with our higher power, life can be hard, and it's very hard without him and without a spiritual community that you could connect with. So all these things open the door for the parasites. We find causes like the ones that I just mentioned in quantum nutrition testing, and we abbreviate that as QNT. We use kinesiology, meaning a muscle test, either with the patient or without the patient, and we get that muscle to react, and that reaction gives us information about how the person is doing. We do a body scan. Basically, we're asking, is everything okay with the frontal sinus, with the brain, with the heart, with the lungs, with the ovaries, with the uterus, with the digestion, we go through a whole body scans, finding out what the body's saying. No, there's a problem here. No, there's a problem here. And then we find the cause, and then we find the nutrition, professional grade nutrition, that's going to take care of the problem and get you healthier. I want to emphasize professional grade nutrition, because you're not finding professional grade nutrition at Walgreens or at Walmart or on Amazon. Amazon has a lot of fakes, or at Costco. So we use nutrition that is proven, that is tested, that we know that if it says 100 milligrams of blah, 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 there's 100 milligrams of blah, 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 and not 5 milligrams and 95 milligrams of filler. So it's very important that when you are a QNT patient, that you don't go off and buy stuff that's not going to work, because then you're wasting my time, and you're wasting your time, and you're wasting your money. I want to give you some patient wins. I abbreviated their names so that they stay anonymous. This one patient, after just being on a protocol for a couple of weeks, said that she saw a worm come out in her stool. And at the moment, I did not have her on a parasite protocol. So as your body is detoxing from the chemicals and the heavy metals and the mold and whatever it is that we're working on, the body's like, we don't need this. Let's get rid of this. And in her case also, we were working very hard on getting her diet straightened out. LP said, I saw a worm come out in my urine, and after that, my burning sensation went away. So cystitis, if it's not getting resolved through conventional means, it could be something else. And then there's a person that wanted to stay super anonymous, so no initials, and then said that the nasal congestion that he had went away after a parasite protocol. So it works. A lot of people are seeing things come out of orifices that you would be like, what? Yeah. And we get the prize, like when the cats are out in other people's yards and they bring you a little gift, like a little rat or a little creature that's like disgusting. Some patients like to do that to us. Oh, I took a picture of it. I'm like, I'm okay. I don't need to see it. I trust you. I believe you. So, like I said, the solution is to find the exact problem, the cause of your problem, and we fix it with professional grade supplements. The companies that I use are Energetics, Cellcore, Standard Process, MediHerb, which they're sister companies. And these supplements are at a good price because they're excellent, excellent products. And so, sometimes I get the complaint, oh, wow, why am I paying that for that? I'm like, well, because you're going to get great results and it's a very top of the line supplement. And most of the times, being on a protocol is going to be a lot cheaper than even going to your doctor's office, to an urgent care, definitely, versus going to a hospital. And you're going to feel better from the inside out, because if you come to me because you have a skin rash, not only are you going to get better from a skin rash, you're going to get better from the inside out. Something on the inside is probably causing that rash to come out. So our body detoxes through our breath, through our feces, through our urine, through our skin. But we've seen people let go of parasites through the nose, through the eyes, through the ears, through the private parts, right? So yeah, it can get interesting. So what should you do next? If you have any of these problems, you've taken antibiotics, you've done this, you've done that, and it's not getting resolved, or you have other health issues that may not be related to parasites, schedule an evaluation. It's very, very cheap compared to the value that you get, the expertise that you get. I've been doing nutrition for over 20 years, chiropractic for 32. And so if you copy the link or copy the QR code, the initial evaluation with the report, so we'll sit down after I do the evaluation to tell you what's going on, what is it going to take to get you better. So for those 2 visits, it's only $99. You're saving $50. And so go ahead and copy the link, and I'll be more than happy to take care of you. So you matter. Your health matters. And so we want to help you. And I want to leave you with a quote from Thomas Edison, because it really, really applies to me as a practitioner and in general to all the chiropractors out there, that the doctor of the future will give no medication, but will interest his patients in the care of the human frame, right? How you're aligned, how your posture is, how everything is working cohesively, in the diet, and in the cause and prevention of disease. Thomas Edison, very, very good quote. So thank you for attending the webinar. I am going to start sharing. Here's my information. I'm on Facebook, on Instagram, and these videos get uploaded onto YouTube. So if you want to attend it again, or watch it again, or send it to a friend, you're more than welcome to. And let me see if there are any questions. Hey, Jazz, any questions that you or Luis might have for me concerning parasites? No? Okay. Well, thank you for joining. Have a great evening, and I'll see you next week. I forgot the topic I'm going to be talking about next week, but remember to join me on Zoom, 7:30 Monday evening. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.